What if everything you've been told about his distance, his silence, his seemingly baffling behavior is missing the point entirely? What if the very chaos that keeps you up at night, heart tangled in a knot of longing and confusion, is not a sign of a failing connection, but the evidence of a sacred, brutal, and breathtakingly precise divine strategy? We spend so much time analyzing his actions through the lens of earthly romance, don't we? We wonder if we're not pretty enough, not spiritually evolved enough, not patient enough. We twist ourselves into spiritual pretzels, trying to become the perfect, non-threatening container for a love that was never meant to be comfortable. But darling, what if his soul didn't seek you out for a gentle stroll in the park? What if it chose you, specifically you, for the equivalent of a spiritual boot camp? This isn't about a man who is afraid of love. That's a boring, surface-level story. This is about a soul who is terrified of the monumental, world-altering power that your love demands he finally and fully step into. His running isn't a rejection of you. It's a frantic, fumbling response to the overwhelming weight of the destiny he feels in your presence. So let's put down the tarot cards for a moment, stop obsessing over the text messages, and venture into the shocking, liberating truth of what the masculine spirit truly craves in a twin flame union. A truth that will forever rewrite the story of his silence and your sacred waiting. You lie awake at night, don't you? Tracing the constellations of your connection, trying to find the pattern, the reason, the why. Why the push and pull? Why the intensity that feels like it could both birth galaxies and shatter worlds? We've been taught to see his distance as a failure, his silence as a rejection. But what if I told you that you are not being left behind? You are being entrusted with the most sacred, terrifying role. You are the forge. Think about a forge for a moment. It's not a gentle thing. It's a container of immense controlled violence. Fire roars. Metal is held in the heart of the flames until it glows, until it becomes malleable. Then comes the hammer. Strike after strike, not out of malice, but with intention, to shape, to strengthen, to transform a raw, potential-laden ore into a blade that can hold a razor's edge and bear the weight of a battle. Beautiful soul, this is you. Your very presence in his life, always that fire. Your love, your energy, your undeniable soul recognition. It's the heat that makes him pliable. The challenges, the mirror you hold up, the ways you trigger his deepest insecurities. That is the hammer. And his soul? His soul signed up for this, voluntarily. Let's be brutally, compassionately honest. The masculine spirit, in its pure, divine expression, is not built for comfort. It's built for mission. It thrives on purpose, the way your heart thrives on connection, and a life of quiet comfort, of a simple, uncomplicated partnership, feels like a slow, spiritual death to a soul that has incarnated for a twin flame journey. He didn't come here for a nice picnic. He came here to storm the gates of his own limitations and to claim a kingdom he's forgotten is his. So when he met you, it wasn't just a meeting of hearts. It was a cosmic alarm clock going off at full volume. The mission is now. The time is now. And every fiber of his being, every unhealed wound, every fear of inadequacy roars to life in protest. His running is not from you. It's from the colossal, magnificent responsibility your love represents. You are the living, breathing embodiment of his why, and that is terrifying. It's so much easier to be a boy, to play small, to hide in the shadows of a life that demands nothing of his greatness. But his soul wants this. His soul craves this activation, like a desert craves rain. It's a deep cellular memory of a contract he signed in the stars. I will incarnate, I will forget who I am, and I will find my other half, who will by their very existence make it impossible for me to remain asleep. You are his divine disruptor. The chaos you feel, it's the sound of his old world collapsing. And yes, it's messy. Spiritual demolitions always are. There's dust and debris everywhere. It's like he's been content to putter around in a small, dark shed, building little model airplanes, and you come along and throw open the doors to reveal a full-scale, real-life hangar with a starship waiting for him. Of course, he's going to blink, stagger, maybe even shout that he preferred the shed. The shed was safe. The starship is unknown. It's vast, and it requires him to be a pilot of unimaginable skill. He has to learn to fly it. This reframes everything, doesn't it? Your pain, your confusion, it's not a sign that something is wrong. It is the inevitable, necessary friction of a soul being forced to grow at warp speed. You are not a passive victim of his journey. You are the active, catalytic environment. The forge does not apologize for its fire. It knows its purpose is to create strength, not comfort. So the next time you feel his distance, I want you to try something radical. Shift your perception. Instead of, he is leaving me, try on. He is in the fire, being shaped for our shared destiny. Your job is not to chase him out of the flames. Your job is to be the unwavering, consistent heat that guarantees his transformation, to hold the space so firmly in your own wholeness that his only two choices are to be forged or to remain unformed. And his soul has already chosen. It chose you, precisely because you are the one being in all of the creation who could not let him get away with being less than everything he is meant to be. And this, of course, leads us to the million-dollar question. What is the specific nature of the strength he's being forged to hold? It's not what you've been led to believe, but that's a conversation for another time, just around the corner. So we've talked about the forge, about how your very being is the sacred fire that calls his soul to its purpose. It's a powerful, almost daunting role. But now, divine feminine, we arrive at the most exquisite, misunderstood, and frankly, the most challenging part of the entire dance. It's the paradox that feels like a cosmic joke until it becomes your greatest liberation. What if I told you that the very thing you're instinctively driven to do, to reach, to reassemble, to gently or not so gently guide him back, is the very energy that perpetuates the distance? Let's get brutally honest for a moment. When he pulls away, the ancient wiring of your being, a wiring that is nurturing, connective, and brilliantly solution-oriented, kicks into high gear. It screams, fix it, bridge the gap, make him see. Don't let the connection fade. And so you send the text. You analyze the energy. You try to be the bridge. It's a natural human response. But here's the spiritual curveball. To the masculine spirit, that bridge doesn't feel like a safe passageway. It feels like a tug on his leash. It feels like a problem he is responsible for solving, and in his already overwhelmed state, his only solution is to back further away. Why? Because you are, in that moment, reflecting back to him a reality of lack. A reality where something is broken and needs his immediate attention to be whole. And my love, a man running from his own perceived inadequacy cannot possibly face what looks like another one in the mirror you're holding. He can't. It's like asking a man who believes he's drowning to save you from the same water. Now, let's flip the script entirely. This is where we move from the psychology of relationships into the pure metaphysics of energy, sovereign surrender. Let's dismantle that term because it's been so watered down. This is not passive waiting. It is not sitting by the window with a silent prayer and a resigned sigh. And it is absolutely, unequivocally not about surrendering to him. It is about surrendering to life itself, to the universe, to the divine orchestration that is infinitely more intelligent than your fear. It is the active, deliberate, and courageous choice to become an unshakable ground of your own being. Imagine yourself not as a bridge stretching anxiously toward him, but as a lighthouse. Think about it. A lighthouse doesn't chase the ships. It doesn't get in a boat and row out into the storm, frantically waving its light and shouting directions. No, it stands firm and unassailable on the most solid part of the shore. It tends to its own light, keeps its lens clean, and burns with a consistent, unwavering beam. It does this regardless of the storms, regardless of which ships are near or far. Its job is not to control the ships. Its job is to be so steadfast, so reliable in its own purpose, that any ship who chooses to orient itself by that light can navigate safely home. That is sovereign surrender. When you become the lighthouse, you stop reflecting a reality of problem and lack. You stop being a mirror that shows him his own chaos. Instead, you become a mirror that shows him his own potential strength. Your calm, grounded, self-sufficient energy reflects back to him a world that is already whole, a world that is safe, a world that does not need him to fix it, but invites him to build upon its solid foundation. Your internal state literally transmits a frequency. The frequency of chasing, anxiety, and need says, I am incomplete without you. The frequency of sovereign surrender says, I am already whole. My world is already beautiful and complete. And there is a glorious, empty space here, specifically designed for you, should you ever choose to step into it and co-create from a place of power, not rescue. It's the difference between being a frantic, overflowing river pulling him into your current and being a deep, still, crystalline lake. The river is demanding. The lake is inviting. It whispers of cool, refreshing depths. It reflects the sky and the stars. It invites him not to be saved, but to come and swim in its abundance, to be refreshed and renewed by its waters, to see his own reflection not as a man who is needed to plug a leak, but as a man who is welcome to explore vast, beautiful depths. This is how you make him see his potency. You don't tell him he's powerful. You create an energetic environment so safe and so whole that his own powerless energy becomes the only dissonant note in the symphony. He will either have to leave the concert entirely or rise to meet the harmony. It's the ultimate act of faith. Faith in yourself, faith in the journey, that the love you share is not so fragile that it will shatter if you stop holding your breath. You are, in essence, calling his bluff. You are calling the bluff of his ego by presenting it with a reality it cannot argue with, your unassailable peace. This is how you turn from the forge into the lighthouse. The same fire that tempers his spirit becomes the steady beam that guides him home. And the most fascinating part? The moment you truly, authentically settle into this state, not as a tactic, but as your new embodied truth, the entire game changes. The dynamic is no longer pursuer and pursued. It becomes two sovereign beings orienting themselves toward the same brilliant, shared horizon. And the secret to making this shift, not just a spiritual concept, but a lived, breath-by-breath reality, it lies in a deceptively simple practice that transforms your energy from the inside out. But that, my dear, is a story for our next conversation. So here we are, you and I, at the edge of the map. We've navigated the stormy seas of why and charted the hidden currents of his soul's desire. We've spoken of forges and lighthouses, of sacred fires and unwavering beams. But now, beautiful soul, we arrive at the quietest, most profound truth of all. The one that exists not in the grand gestures of union, but in the silent, cellular shift within you. This entire journey, with all its heart-stopping synchronicities and its agonizing silences, was never a test of your ability to endure love. It was an invitation to become it, to stop looking for the reflection of your worth in his eyes, and to start feeling it as the very blood in your veins, the very air in your lungs. Think of it not as a path leading to a man, but as a spiral staircase leading you deeper and deeper into the core of your own cathedral. For a while, you maybe thought he was the cathedral, this magnificent external structure you longed to enter. But the shocking, liberating truth is that you are the sanctuary. The stained glass windows that filter divine light into 1,000 colors. That's your perception. The altar where sacrifices are transformed into blessings. That's your heart. The vaulted ceilings that echo with ancient wisdom. That's the expanse of your own spirit. His journey, with all its fits and starts, was simply the architect's blueprint that forced you to build, to lay every stone of your boundaries, to mortar every brick of your self-worth, to raise the rafters of your faith so high that they finally brushed against heaven. And you know the most miraculous part of this? When you are fully, completely, and unapologetically at home within your own sacred walls, the concept of waiting simply evaporates. It loses all meaning. You're no longer waiting for him to arrive. You're too busy living a life so rich, so textured, so aligned with your soul's own song, that his arrival would simply be a guest of honor, stepping into a celebration that is already gloriously underway. He wouldn't be completing a half-built room. He'd be entering a finished, consecrated space, adding his unique frequency to a symphony that is already playing. This is the ultimate secret they don't tell you in the storybooks. The twin flame union was never the prize at the end of the race. It is the natural, organic, and almost inevitable byproduct of you claiming your own spiritual real estate. It's the deep, resonant chord that sounds when two complete, self-aware frequencies decide to harmonize voluntarily, not out of need, but out of shared, exuberant delight in the music they can create together. So let the question, "What does he really want?" dissolve from your mind. It was always the wrong question, a distracting echo in your cathedral. The only question that ever truly mattered was, "What does my soul require to feel whole and free and wildly, divinely alive in this very moment?" Tend to that garden with the hands of a devoted lover. Water it with your tears and your laughter. Let the sun of your attention warm the soil of your own potential. And whether he arrives to admire the blooms or not becomes almost secondary, because you will be living in a state of such breathtaking wholeness that you have, at last, become the very love you were seeking. And the most fascinating discovery awaits you in that state of wholeness. A subtle truth about the final, silent language of harmonious union, the unspoken vow that exists beyond all fear. But that, dear one, is a story for a day when you've grown accustomed to the magnificent sound of your own peace.